Right, for a long time now I've been bending metal bar in my hydraulic press, which I made myself out of scrap. And it does a wonderful job of it. We can bend up to sort of 22mm bar, probably bigger than that, nice and accurately, and it's got plenty of power. But I want to bend flat bar the hard way, that is along its narrowest edge. I like the visual effect of it, and I've got lots of projects lined up where I want to do this. But it's exceptionally difficult to do this without kinking the metal. So I've had an idea. I want to make a machine. And here it is drawn out here. So my idea is to use some box section to telescope with a ram on top of it for a roller, and then 2 other rollers, and then the metal bar can go in between the 3 and be bent using hydraulic power. And all of the rollers can have machine grooves in them so that they can support the metal and keep it flat so it doesn't twist as I bend it the way it doesn't want to bend. So that's what we're going to have a go at making. So the first job is start making the frame, and this is greatly aided by my Evolution chop saw, which you can change the angle of really easily by just pulling down the trigger with your thumb and tilting the head. Job's a carrot. Now the idea here is to have a sort of V-shaped frame, and that'll allow us more room with the head, as it were, the head roller, to move. So with all the pieces accurately cut, it's time to get them tacked together so they won't move, and get them welded together with my Artec MIG 181 MIG welder. Available from Artec, fantastic little machine. Tell it how thick the metal is and it does the rest. All you have to do is press the trigger. Now over to the lathe to make the pins to attach the hydraulic ram to my telescopic box doodad. So the pin goes into the box section through this hole, and then the bottom of the pin is welded so that the pin is fixed, but the ram can be removed if I need to change the seals or service it in the future. So with that all done, you can see here me assembling my basic machine. So I've got my V-frame there, I've got the telescope box there, I've got the mounting pin and the hydraulic ram on top. So now I need some movable pegs. My idea here is that I will drill some holes in the V-section box frame, then machine up some pins out of some 20mm bar and put some M10 thread in the end. I can weld those into the box V, and it'll give me several different positions that I can put the outer rollers, so I can change the force of the machine and also the amount of curvature I can get, if that makes any sense at all. Of course, as well as bending metal on edge, I can also use this for bending round bar, because at the moment I do it in the press and hold it sort of horizontally. Then when I get a bend, I have to support the weight with my hand, stop it from twisting to keep everything straight. But the bender I'm making here is a horizontal bender, which means that any bends I make will be held flat on the table and stop it from twisting. So it might make making larger bends and larger items a bit easier. Anyway, here you can see what I mean by putting the pins in through the box and welding them in, and that gives me multiple positions to mount these rollers, which may or may not be off a Discovery 3 timing belt. As always when making a machine, you really could have done with using something similar in the past so you have half an idea what you're doing. Unfortunately, this isn't the case, so it's all a bit of guesstimation and going with it, and that's exactly what I'm doing. So hopefully it'll work. I'm pretty sure it'll bend something. Whether it'll stop the metal from twisting or not, I'm not entirely sure yet, but you have to try to know. So back over to the lathe. This is a bit of machine steel, and this is going to be our middle roller, and I'm going to make different rollers for different sections of steel, and they'll go here. Isn't that satisfying? Now, these rollers don't actually have to be round, they could be half moon shaped, and it has occurred to me that having a larger diameter half moon shape would put less of a direct or acute force on the metal and make it less likely for it to kink when I'm bending it. So I need to have a bit of a play around with different shaped geometry on the dies, but here's some initial testing, which is rather encouraging on some flat steel. Now the distance between the rollers it's pushing against is rather large, so there's a large unsupported area giving opportunity to twist. So I think I'll add some steel and possibly a deck, and I might be able to make some guides, but it seems to be working pretty well. There's plenty of power. I can always add a larger ram if I need to, but it doesn't need a huge amount of power. It's all about keeping it straight. And like I said before, because it's not up in the air with the height, it is a lot easier to handle the material. And it'll be especially easier when it's up on the bench. So the machine is a success. I need to spend some time getting to know it and making some modifications and some more tooling. Here's some 20mm bar, and it really moves it around very easily. I think I need a few more positions, a bit more tooling, but I'll call that a win.